Hey, Becoming Me. I'm so excited to introduce you to my warrior friend, Allison. Allison, welcome to Becoming Me.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much for creating this space for people to share their stories and bring advice and wisdom to the world. It's so wonderful, and I appreciate you so much.
Well, I appreciate you and just your willingness to share your story. Like, I never take it lightly that someone like yourself would entrust sharing your story with BecomingMe.tv. I think that's a really big deal. So I'm honored and I thank you. And, I would love right now, like, let's kick it off with one of my favorite questions. Like, who's Allison? If someone isn't familiar with you, who is Allison?
That's a great question. It depends on the day. So I wear many different, I guess that, cliche phrase, I wear many hats. So I am a mom, I'm an author, I'm an educator, I'm a student of life. I have had so many weird, strange, fun experiences in life that when I reflect and look back at what happened to me and all the different things that made me become who I am today, you would think it's like not real. And
Mm,
yet here I am. And I guess that's just a testament of what can happen and how important it is to truly embrace who you are becoming in the journey, because it's not just
mm.
about the end point, because you're constantly growing and going. It's a crazy story, but I'll save it for what we're gonna
Oof.
talk.
Girl, I love how you're already describing becoming. Like you're speaking the language of my favorite word. That's amazing and beautifully said. I couldn't agree more. And now I'm like so ready to dive straight into your story. Like let's take some time. Let's unpack your story. What is making you who you are?
So I don't know how far back. I guess we'll go not pun intended on my last name, but we'll go a little back. So when I was 5 years old,
Mm,
I was in kindergarten, obviously, and I had a teacher who was fantastic.
mm,
And one day she had laryngitis, so we couldn't have
mm,
story time that everyone's sitting on the carpet and reading. So my mother taught me how to read and
mm.
write at a very young age. And my teacher said, "Okay, guys, we can't have story time today because my voice is really bad. I have laryngitis." And I stepped up and said, "I'll read." So there I was, picking up a book, reading to my kindergarten class. And in that
Mm,
moment, I realized the value and importance of not only just embracing your gifts and your talents and who you
mm.
are, but accepting that there's going to be different moments in your life that kind of pinpoint this is where you're meant to
Mm.
be
Oh,
and this is
yeah.
where you're going. And after reading to the class,
Mm,
this book in front of me and everything, I realized reading and
mm,
learning and teaching can take you in so many different places. And my life kind of went on that
mm,
trajectory and I became who I am. And I remember going to college, going through everything. I had some trials
mm,
and tribulations that were quite insane. And
mm,
then there was a very pivotal moment in 2018. At this point, I was already teaching. I was in a school that I loved. Everything was fantastic. And one morning I'm driving to work. And as I'm driving on the highway in New York, everyone just came to a stop. So I slam on the brakes and I look in my rearview mirror. And the next thing I know, the car is flying forward. I see glass. I see there something flew over my head. I didn't realize I had three giant jugs of water in my back seat, and they just launched right over my head, and the whole dashboard just starts lighting up. And I hear the music, and I'm seeing what's going on, and I just didn't know what to do. So the next thing I knew, a guy was standing on the highway in front of my window saying, "Are you okay? Are you? What is everything all right?" And the airbags didn't go off. I was just like, "Yeah, I'm fine." I didn't know what just happened. I remember stopping, but just something was weird. So call 911, call my boss, call everything. And as I'm sitting in the car, I somehow was able to get out of the car and get to the back of the car. And as the fire trucks are coming down the highway, I look at the back of my car and it's gone. It's done. It's smashed in. My trunk is gone. Everything in my trunk is destroyed. My back window, everything's done. And the firefighter is standing on the highway and he goes to me, "Did you just get out of that car?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "There is no way you are okay right now. So you have to go sit down because I don't know how you're standing." And that was the first moment I realized something is not right. Something's different. And this set me on my path. So I came back to school days later with the neck brace and everything. So then fast forward a bit, and I'm teaching. I love teaching, love everything I'm doing. And we have a day off from school. I'm very close to my grandmother. I call up my grandmother in the morning. And instead of her saying her usual, "Hi, babe, how's everything?" she's not talking. And she's slurring her words and she's asking me for weird things. I spun my car around, drove up to her. She had a stroke. So she ends up in the hospital, emergency room, whole thing. And then she goes to rehab. And I'm sitting with her in rehab. And there's a woman who is her next door neighbor in the bed next to her. And she's yelling at my grandmother, "Maxine, don't get out of bed. Don't make the nurses scared. Don't do this. Don't do that." So I pull the curtain back. And this is a geriatric unit. So it's all 80 something year old people, but she's 30 something years old. And I looked at her and I was like, "Hi." And she goes, "Who are you?" I said, her granddaughter. So we get to talking a bit. And she tells me that she had a medical incident, but she said that if she could go back in time, there are so many things she would have done. And she says to me, "You're young. If you could stop making excuses for something in your life, what would you do?" And I said, "I'd get a PhD." And she goes, "And what silly excuses have you been giving people for this all these years?" And I said, "Well, I don't have the money." And my grandmother was like, "You'll figure it out. You'll get the money." And then the woman in Europe goes to me, "Okay, what else you got? Give me some answers here." I said, "Well, I don't think I'm ready for a PhD." And she goes, "Honey, you're ready." And I said, "Okay, like, try some more excuses here, really, get this going." And I said, "I don't think I'm smart enough for a PhD." And she goes, "For you to think of getting a PhD, that's something in itself." And she goes, "I don't know how spiritual you are. I don't know how religious you are. I'm going to tell you something right now. God is speaking to me, to you, to say all these things to you right now. So it is God telling you through me to go get the PhD because you are going to change so many lives. And if you don't do this now, you're never going to do it." So I went home and there was a postcard sitting in my mailbox for Liberty University's PhD program, which just so happened to be there. And I mean, I always looked at things and things of that nature. So it wasn't 100% odd that it was there. But I remember within a week, I signed up for the classes, I enrolled, I applied, everything. And the moment I started really doing my PhD and focusing on education, leadership, and trauma, I knew this is who I'm meant to become. And if I didn't have all these different experiences, these wake calls, all this different stuff happen to me, I would have just been sitting there waiting and waiting. And you can wait and wait for so long, but when you know that God is telling you, you are destined to be and become this, you can't say no. You have to trust yourself, you have to trust what's within, and you have to go and you have to do. And at this stage of my research, it's just amazing about how far I've come. I went full time, finished all my classes in a year, started the research, and it is an exhilarating feeling. And I'm so grateful to my grandmother, to her roommate, Anira, to everyone who I've interacted with and helped guide me and push me to this path. Because if I didn't listen, if I didn't listen to within, if I didn't listen to God, if I didn't listen to all of the things around me, I would not be me. And how sad could that be? Not being yourself.
Wow, I literally like just thinking of everything you're unpacking. One, it's so powerful. And even that question that your grandmother's roommate posed to you, like what would you do without excuses? Say that for me again, because that was powerful.
What would you do in life if
Uh-huh.
you stopped making excuses?
Ooh, wow.
And that from that day forward, anytime I have any sort of hesitation or any
Mhm.
sort of nervousness, I think to myself what she said that day. What would I do if I stopped making excuses? And things have been so much more fluid in I don't know if fluid's the right word, but things are just flowing and things
Wow.
are going the right way. And then I can't believe if you told me years ago, this time about 2 years ago, that I would be where I am to I would say, "Okay, yeah, that's really funny." Like, you must have somebody else, like, mixed up. Maybe there's another
Mhm,
Allison that you, like, meant to give this message to, but it's me, and I'm here, and it's crazy, and it's wonderful, and it's so exciting,
mhm,
and it's just such an important reminder to
mhm,
all of you listeners out there, to whomever is engaging with us right now, that when you listen and you really tune in,
mm.
you will become who you're meant to be. You'll hit roadblocks, you'll hit struggles, you'll hit challenges, but you're gonna get there.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my goodness, that's so powerful. Like, thank you for sharing your story, your journey, who you are, who you're becoming. I am curious, are you a coffee drinker?
I'm not.
No? Okay, so
No, I'm
do you drink
naturally like this.
tea? You are one of the lucky people. I mean, some of us, I have my coffee ready to
Mhm.
go right here. So are you a tea drinker, water, like,
I got my water right here in
girl?
my bottle from a conference I presented at years ago.
That's
Um,
awesome. I love it. Okay. So, like, if you're having a cup of water, right?
mhm,
You're hanging out with somebody else. We got our water bottles. We're like healthy and naturally energized. And you're talking with this person and they're sharing stuff about their own becoming journey.
mhm.
What would you say to encourage them to be who God made them to be?
Wow. I mean, I guess there's so much. I I guess I would say embrace yourself, all parts of you. The happy, the ugly crying parts, the days when you just want to throw your hair in a ponytail and just call it a day and just do what you got to do. Embrace
Mm,
everything that you're becoming, embrace the journey, because if you consistently say, "Wait, no, I can't. Like, I don't love myself today. I don't want myself today. I'm not going to just I'm not going to be today. I'm not going to become today." Then you're not giving yourself the space to truly be and become. We all have those days where we just don't know what's next. We all
mhm,
have those days where we don't know how we're going to make it through, and yet we do. And
mhm,
there's a quote I always somehow come back to from Wayne Gretzky or Michael Scott if you're an Office fan. You miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
mhm,
And when you know deep down inside that there's something that is just itching to just come out of you and itching to
mhm,
be, you can't be quiet about that. One of my favorite, when I started to read the Bible more
mhm,
frequently and really immerse myself in the faith, I came across Nehemiah, and he was just a regular guy who had a vision and wanted to not become a leader but lead.
mhm,
And he had this vision, and he just said, "You know what? We're going to rebuild the wall.
mm,
We're going to do this." And he led and guided so many and helped with protection and support. And his faith in God and his faith in himself were so strong that he was able to help
mm,
not just do something for his own becoming story, but for the people as well.
mhm,
And that is amazing. And when we take the time to sit and just be in the silence and listen and tune into our faith and tune into who we will become,
mm,
we may not know every single solitary step that we must take to get to where we want to be in life,
mm,
but you just have to trust the process. And
yeah,
some days you'll get that sign, and other days you'll get a small sign or a song or something saying, "Hey, don't give up." And I think my main piece of advice to someone would say, be a lighthouse. Let the light shine from within you and be a beacon of hope.
mm,
Because lighthouses, like, what do lighthouses do? They shine and they show people, "Hey, wait, don't get too close. Don't hit the rocks. Don't, don't crash. You'll
mhm,
be fine." And when you for yourself are a beacon of light and a beacon of hope and show others, "Hey, I've been through some tough stuff and I've been through some pretty bad things in life, but I can make it and you can too."
mm.
And I think being the lighthouse, being that beacon of hope, That's really important.
I can make it and you can make it too. That's beautifully said and so encouraging. Like, I'm so encouraged. You're a warrior. You are so wise. Thank you for sharing your story, your journey, and just encouraging us to become who God made us to be too and stop making excuses and to also truly show up and love who we are and who we're becoming. Allison, if somebody was watching your story and they wanted to continue to follow your journey and connect with you, where and how can people connect with you online?
Sure. So you can find me on LinkedIn under Allison Teicher-Fahrbach, my name. And please feel free, reach out. Let's chat. Let's have, some wonderful conversations. If you need a bit of support and encouragement, I will gladly cheer you on. But you should know that your faith and the support and all that you need, all the strength is within you. And that's
Yes.
the important part.
That's so good. I mean, thank you for sharing your story. I so appreciate you, warrior friend. I'm cheering you on as
Thank
you're
you.
becoming who God made you to be. And just thanks for being with us today.
Thank you so much.